to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today I'm going to show you to make dinner rolls. Dinner rolls are incredibly easy. They're just like these little pillows of heaven. They're warm. It's one of those bread recipes that's really simple. I'm not really experienced with bread making, I gotta say. I've made this recipe enough times that I feel comfortable sharing it with you, and I know it's absolutely delicious. That's why I'm sharing it. And you know, it's Thanksgiving's coming up and I always serve dinner rolls. Ingredients are all-purpose flour. You're going to need 2 eggs. I've seen a lot of dinner rolls recipes that don't require eggs. I find that the eggs are crucial. It gives it more flavor. It just, like, the texture of the bread comes out better. So I do like to add the bread. You're gonna need, in this little measuring cup here, I have some milk and water. You're gonna need some melted butter, granulated sugar, yeast, and a little bit of salt. You also want your milk and water mixture to be warm. You want it to be around 110 degrees Fahrenheit. If you don't have a little kitchen thermometer, I recommend that you do, because I mean, it's really inexpensive. You can buy on Amazon for less than 10 bucks, and it comes in so handy in case you really don't know how to tell if your milk it's ready enough. So I'm gonna be making mine today in my stand mixer, because otherwise it's gonna take me forever. You're gonna have to knead this dough for about 10 minutes. So the stand mixer makes it so much better. So to my bowl here, I'm going to add the milk and water mixture. I'm also going to add, I'm going to do it with my hands. So you're going to want to add about a tablespoon of that sugar, because that's going to help activate the yeast. I'm just going to give it a quick mix, and right to it, I'm going to add my yeast right in here, and I'm just gonna let this be for about 10 minutes. You want the yeast to start foaming up, and that's how you know it's ready. If your yeast doesn't foam, that means that it's not really good. So you need to get another packet, because otherwise your bread is just not gonna rise. So it's important that you let it get nice and foamy. I'm gonna show you exactly what it looks like. So I'm gonna let it do its thing, and I'll be back here for the next step. As you can see, my yeast is nice and foamy. That means it's ready to go. So now all I'm gonna do is crack 2 eggs right in there. The melted butter that has been slightly cooled. You can add the sugar, salt. Might seem like a lot of salt, but remember, if you don't add salt to your bread, it's gonna taste like absolutely nothing. So make sure you add a generous amount of salt. I'm just gonna stir this real quick. Okay, just to mix in a few things. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my flour right in here. I am gonna leave a little bit behind, about probably say like 2 tablespoons of flour, because sometimes you don't need the whole thing, just depends. So I'm gonna leave about this bit behind, this like 2 tablespoons of flour. I'm gonna mix this on low until it kind of starts to incorporate, and then I'm gonna bring it up to medium. Then I'm gonna let it knead for about 8 to 10 minutes. It's mostly incorporated. Now I'm gonna bring it up to medium, and I'm just gonna let it do its thing. Okie dokie. This looks about right. Want to see? Okay, so this is what you want. You want your dough to be, your dough's gonna be slightly tacky, but it's not gonna be sticky. Shouldn't be sticking too much to your fingers. If that happens, it means it needs a little more flour, or you just need to knead it for like 1 or 2 more minutes. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, let me remove my hook here. Let's see. Does it want to come out? Okay, there we go. I have clean surface. Make sure you have a clean surface. I have a little bit of flour, which I'm going to sprinkle all over. Okay, and I have a little dough scraper here, and this is gonna help me remove everything from my bowl. Okay, this is beautiful, beautiful dough. I'm gonna sprinkle the top with some flour, and then I'm gonna knead this for just like 2 more minutes. You kind of want to bring it all together. Look at that, it's absolutely beautiful. It's soft, just how we want it. Okay, look at this beautiful dough. Want to make it into a bowl, some sorts here. Then I have this little bowl. This is where I had my flour. I'm just gonna drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil. Just gonna drizzle this. Let me see. There really wasn't much in here, so I saved it. So to do that, I have a little brush here. I'm just gonna brush the bottom, brush the whole thing. I'm just gonna grab my beautiful dough. I'm gonna pop it right in there. I'm gonna brush the top. Let's see if I can get a tiny bit more oil out of this bottle. Yep, doesn't look like there's anything left in there. Just a small little drizzle, like that. Brush it all over. Now we cover this with some plastic wrap. And we're gonna let this rise, just like so. We're gonna let this rise for about an hour. You want it to rise. You want it to be double in volume. You're gonna see it's gonna grow quite a lot. So I'm gonna pop this in my microwave. That's where I find that it rises the best. Or you can even pop it in your oven. Or say don't turn on your oven. I'll be back here in about an hour. I just have to do a little cleanup, and I'll show you what we're gonna do next. We're back. As you can see, the dough has risen in beautifully. It has doubled in size. If you remember, it was like a tiny little bowl of dough. Now it's huge and good. So I'm just gonna push it down with my fist, just like so. I want to deflate the dough. Right. I have a little more flour here. Remember, we're working on a clean surface. I'm just gonna take out the dough. Just like so, sprinkle it, tiny bit more flour, not a lot of flour, kind of both sides, kind of. Okay, so now you can cut this any size you like. You can do 12 dinner rolls, you can do 15 dinner rolls, depending on how big you are obviously gonna cut them. So I'm just gonna make kind of like a little lug here, kind of like this, and I'm just gonna cut my dough into 3 somewhat equal, equal pieces. Okay, so if you want to be very, very precise with this, you can use a kitchen scale to obviously measure the size, but I'm just gonna eyeball it and hopefully 3. Okay, for sure, I see this one's a little smaller. So you're gonna wanna cut each piece into 5, and then this is what I personally like to do. Go like that, spread it out a little bit, and then you work around it with your thumb. You see, and you kind of like make it into a little bowl. I have a 9 by 13 baking dish here. You can use any type of baking dish you have, but I find that this, either the glass ones or these ceramic ones, are a little better than the metal baking dishes, because the metal ones will make them brown a little too much for my liking. You can tell this one's a little too big, so I'm just gonna take out a little piece and just work with it. Just make it to a little round, just like so, and there you have it. It really is not that hard once you get the hang of it. And like I said, if you're new at bread making, this is quite simple. I'm gonna keep making my little dinner rolls. This dough is absolutely beautiful. These are gonna be so soft. It's gonna be wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so definitely some are bigger than others, so I'm gonna have to fix that as I work with the rest of the dough. Okie dokie, this is my last one, so you can see. I'm gonna make this one a little more round. Okie dokie, so you can see they're all here. I was able to make them all kind of the same size. So now these have to proof again. You have to do a second rise. So I'm just gonna cover mine with a little towel here, just so I don't have to waste any more unnecessary plastic wrap. So I'm gonna cover these. These towels are they're clean, but they're very stained. So these are obviously my cooking towels. So I'm just gonna pop this in the freezer. I'm in the freezer now. I'm gonna pop this in the oven. Remember, oven's not on because this just doesn't fit in my microwave. So I'm just gonna pop it in for about 45 minutes to an hour. You're gonna see they're gonna get a little more puffy and they're gonna rise a little bit more. And they're gonna be, and then after that, we just bake them. My cuties are out of the oven. Well, remember they were proofing in the oven. They got really big and delicious. I know these are gonna be absolutely fantastic. I removed them from the oven because remember I have these proofing in the oven. Now I'm preheating my oven to 375. So these were in the oven for about 45 minutes. I'm gonna cover them again. I just wanted to show you. I'm gonna cover them again for just as long as the oven is done preheating, and then I'm gonna pop them in the oven for about 20 minutes or until they are cooked through. If you find that they're getting a little too golden brown, just cover them with a little bit of foil and you're gonna be able to fix that issue. My dinner rolls are out of the oven. I just took them out. I have a little bit of salted, like really good quality salted butter. I'm just gonna brush some of that butter all over. So you can see they get a little glossy, and even better because they have more butter. And who doesn't love butter? I'm sure I do. Look at that. Look how absolutely perfection. Well, let me get my oven mitts here so you can really see. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, here we go. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see the steam, but it is hot, hot, hot. I'm gonna try to do my best to open this because like I said, it's really hot. But I want you guys to see, look at that. Look how fluffy. It's just so fluffy and beautiful. And I can't wait to dig right in. I'm just gonna brush it, the insides, with a little bit more of this melted butter. I'm salivating. Absolute perfection. They are so soft and you gotta serve them warm. There's no other way. This will last you at room temperature for about 2 days until they start to get hard. You can keep them in the freezer if you want for up to a month. Look at this. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see. Look at that. So soft. I literally don't have any other words for them aside from perfection. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. As you saw, it's really not that hard. Mostly they're worth it. That's what I gotta say. They're worth it. There's nothing like fresh bread. It's delicious. I'm gonna continue. Enjoy my bread. I hope you guys enjoy. Remember, written recipe on my website, anitasdelightsrecipes.com. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.